In the high-stakes world of global finance, a single keystroke can completely alter reality. We trust computer systems and massive institutions to handle unimaginable wealth without blinking. But behind every advanced automated system, there is still a human sitting at a keyboard. And in 2018, one tiny clerical slip-up created a localized economic crisis in South Korea. A basic clerical error accidentally distributed over $100 billion to low-level employees. What followed was 37 minutes of absolute, unadulterated chaos that nearly broke a corporate empire. This is the unbelievable story of the most expensive fat finger mistake in history. To understand how this disaster unfolded, we have to look at Samsung Securities. While most people know Samsung for smartphones, their financial division handles massive investment portfolios. It was a perfectly normal Friday morning, and an administrative worker sat down at their desk. Their task was simple: process a routine dividend payout to employees who own company stock. The company intended to give qualifying workers a modest bonus of 1,000 Korean won per share. In US currency, that amounts to roughly 85 cents per share, a standard, quiet corporate benefit. But when entering the data into the system, the employee made a catastrophic mental slip. In the internal system, the fields for currency payouts and stock distributions looked almost identical. Instead of typing 1001, the clerk mistakenly approved a payout of 1,000 shares. That meant every single employee suddenly received 1,000 shares of stock for every single share they owned. Within seconds, a massive tidal wave of phantom wealth poured directly into ordinary staff accounts. Low-level managers and entry-level assistants opened their banking apps to find literal fortunes. Some employees were suddenly staring at portfolios worth over $9 million. In total, the system mistakenly generated over 2 billion completely non-existent corporate shares. The value of this accidental payout sat at an astronomical $100 billion. This single clerical mistake created a sum greater than 30 times the company's actual market value. At this moment, a fascinating and chaotic human experiment began inside the offices. Imagine looking at your corporate account and realizing you are an instant multimillionaire. Most employees immediately knew this had to be an absurd, impossible system error. They sat tightly at their desks, waiting for upper management to inevitably reverse the transaction. But 16 specific employees looked at the money and decided to make a run for it. They ignored the moral dilemma, opened up the live market, and began dumping their fake shares. They knew the window was closing fast, and they wanted to cash out before the hammer dropped. For 37 minutes, these rogue employees aggressively sold stock they didn't actually own. When billions of dollars worth of stock hit the public market simultaneously, Wall Street panicked. Algorithmic trading bots tracked the sudden, massive influx of selling volume. Outside investors, completely unaware of the typo, assumed the company was collapsing internally. A brutal panic selling chain reaction triggered across the entire South Korean stock exchange. Samsung Securities' actual, legitimate stock value plummeted by over 11% in minutes. Billions of dollars in real, tangible market capitalization evaporated into thin air over a typo. The stock exchange was forced to step in and freeze trading entirely to prevent total ruin. When upper management finally woke up to the nightmare, the cleanup process was brutal. They instantly locked down all employee accounts, but the damage was already done. The 16 employees who sold the stock didn't get to ride off into the sunset with millions. Instead, Samsung Securities filed severe criminal complaints against them for financial fraud. The courts ruled that they knew the payout was an error, making the sales illegal. The rogue employees were fired, heavily fined, and permanently blacklisted from the entire financial industry. But the biggest shockwave slammed directly into the South Korean regulators themselves. How did a system allow a clerk to issue more stock than actually existed in the real world? The incident exposed a terrifying loophole known as naked short selling safeguards failing. It proved that massive financial networks were incredibly vulnerable to basic human typing errors. While Samsung's mistake is legendary, they are far from the only victims of keyboard failures. In 1962, NASA launched the Mariner 1 space probe on a mission toward Venus. Just minutes into flight, the rocket veered wildly off course and had to be detonated. The root cause? A programmer omitted a single, tiny hyphen in the guidance software code. That single missing dash cost the space agency over $80 million in seconds. Years later in Japan, a junior trader at Mizuho Securities made another absolute classic blunder. He was supposed to sell a single share of a company for 600,000 yen. Instead, he flipped the numbers, selling 600,000 shares for just 1 yen each. The system processed it anyway, costing the investment bank over $200 million. Then there's the infamous case of O'Connor versus Oakhurst Dairy in Maine. A massive multi-million-dollar lawsuit completely hinged on the lack of an Oxford comma. The missing comma in state law made it unclear if delivery drivers were exempt from overtime. Because of that single missing, the dairy company had to pay $5 million. Whether it's space travel, dairy logistics, or tech conglomerates, punctuation is absolutely everything. The world runs on data, and data is ruthlessly unforgiving to those who rush. Because of disasters like Samsung's fat finger crisis, global markets were forced to adapt. Banks and brokerage firms started implementing strict automated threshold blocks on all transactions. Today, if a trader enters an order that completely deviates from standard market sizes, the system instantly locks the order down until multiple human managers manually clear it. It acts as a digital straitjacket to protect humans from their own basic fatigue. Because when you are handling billions, a split second of zoning out can destroy an economy. Human error is completely inevitable, but letting a system execute it blindly is a choice. The next time you make a silly typo in a text message, just take a deep breath. At least your minor spelling error didn't accidentally wipe out an entire company's valuation. And it certainly didn't leave you facing a multi-million-dollar criminal fraud investigation. What do you think is the most insane expensive typo on our list today? Would you have tried to sell those fake shares if you saw them in your account? Or would you have played it completely safe and called human resources immediately? Let us know your honest answers in the comment section below this video. We read every single comment to see what our community thinks about these stories. If you found this historical deep dive fascinating, please hit that like button. It really helps our independent channel grow and produce more detailed content for you. Don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell right now. That way, you will never miss another upload about the weirdest moments in history. Thank you so much for watching our documentary breakdown today. Stay curious, double check your emails, and we will see you in the next video.